The following program discusses and depicts violence and other disturbing content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back, Dark Travelers, to Darker Things. I'm your host, Doug Duckett, and today we delve into the shadowy life of a woman whose name sends chills down the spine. Patricia Krenwinkel. Once an ordinary girl from Los Angeles, she became the most infamous member of the Manson family, participating in some of the most brutal murders in American history. So turn down the lights and let's walk together into the dark.
Patricia Krenwinkel was born on December 3, 1947 in sunny Los Angeles, California. Imagine the scene. A classic suburban neighborhood, neat lawns, and tidy houses bathed in the warm Californian sun. On the surface, her life seemed to be the epitome of the American dream. Her father, Paul, was an insurance salesman, the kind who wore crisp suits and came home at 5 o'clock sharp. Her mother, also named Patricia, was the archetypal homemaker. She kept the house immaculate and made sure dinner was on the table every evening. They were a typical middle-class Catholic family, with Sunday Mass as a weekly ritual and the expectation of a bright future for their children. Imagine a young girl standing in the mirror, scrutinizing every flaw, comparing herself to the polished images of happiness around her. Her family might have looked like a picture from a magazine, but for Patricia, it was a picture where she never quite fit in. The perfect house on a perfect street was, for Patricia, a gilded cage, locking her in with her fears and insecurities. Beneath the sunny facade of Los Angeles, her inner world was a storm of self-doubt and longing for acceptance, a storm that would eventually lead her down a dark and irreversible path. High school wasn't kind to Patricia. She was often the target of bullies, and her battles with weight only intensified her feelings of inadequacy. Social isolation became her unwelcome companion. The divorce of her parents only added fuel to the fire, splintering her already fragile emotional state. Feeling abandoned and unloved, Patricia sought solace wherever she could find it. Her home, once a place of refuge, had turned into a reminder of what she had lost. Her sense of belonging shattered, she yearned for a new direction, a new family to call her own. In 1967, Patricia was living with her half-sister and drifting through life, when she crossed paths with a man who promised to fill the void in her heart, Charles Manson. Manson was a master of charm, a charismatic figure with a magnetic personality. He offered her the love and acceptance she had craved for so long. Manson's words were intoxicating, his promises irresistible. In her vulnerable state, Patricia was easily drawn into his web, believing in the utopia he painted a world of love, freedom, and belonging. Little did she know, she was stepping into a nightmare. As Patricia integrated into the Manson family, she found a twisted sense of community. They lived communally, shared everything, and followed Manson's every command. Drugs, free love, and an ideology of rebellion against societal norms were the order of the day. Patricia, or Katie as Manson called her, quickly became a devoted follower. Her loyalty to Manson was unwavering. He had given her a new family, a new purpose. She was willing to do anything to maintain that sense of belonging, even if it meant crossing moral boundaries she once thought inviolable. On the nights of August 8 and 9, 1969, Patricia Krenwinkel's descent into darkness reached its horrific zenith. During the infamous Tate murders, Patricia participated in the brutal slaying of Abigail Folger. Her actions were savage, a frenzy of violence that left Folger dead. The bloodbath continued the next night at the LaBianca residence. Patricia, along with her fellow family members, invaded the home of Lino and Rosemary LaBianca, ending their lives in a similarly gruesome fashion. Her hands were stained with blood, her soul deeply marred by the acts she had committed. Under Manson's spell, she had become a willing executioner, a far cry from the lost girl she once was. Patricia's reign of terror came to an end on December 1, 1969, when she was arrested and charged with multiple counts of murder. The trial that followed was a spectacle of madness, with Krenwinkel's cold demeanor chilling the courtroom. She was found guilty and sentenced to death. However, the 1972 California Supreme Court decision temporarily abolishing the death penalty commuted her sentence to life imprisonment. Behind bars, Patricia was left to confront the horrifying reality of her actions. She was found guilty and sentenced to death. However, the 1972 California Supreme Court decision temporarily abolishing the death penalty commuted her sentence to life imprisonment. Behind bars, Patricia was left to confront the horrifying reality of her actions. Prison became Patricia's new home. She adapted, engaging in educational and rehabilitative activities. Over the decades, she faced numerous parole hearings, each time expressing remorse for her past actions, but the public and the parole boards were not ready to forgive. She spent her days reflecting on her past, the person she had become, and the lives she had shattered. Interviews and statements from Patricia painted a picture of a woman tormented by her own history, struggling to reconcile with the person she once was. Today, Patricia Krenwinkel remains a name synonymous with terror and tragedy. Her story serves as a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk within and the power of manipulation. She is frequently depicted in media and literature, her life a cautionary tale of lost innocence and the consequences of falling under the sway of a madman. Her legacy is a testament to the fragility of the human psyche and the horrors that can arise from a desperate search for belonging and acceptance.
And so ends the tragic tale of Patricia Krenwinkel. From a troubled childhood to the horrors of the Manson family, her life is a dark chapter in the annals of American crime. It leaves us pondering the thin line between vulnerability and violence, and the shadowy paths that can lead from ordinary lives to infamy. Stay vigilant, dear listeners, because sometimes the darkest places are closer than we think. Hey, if you found this video compelling, we invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our journeys into the dark. Until next time, guys, this is your host, Doug Duncan, with the reminder that once you enter the dark, you may never be the same.